Hello and welcome to match day 3 of the Hero Champions Trophy. We are at the Kalinga Stadium in Bhubaneswar. It's a Pool B fixture, the second last Pool B fixture, and it's between Argentina and Germany. This is how things stand in Pool B. Netherlands currently top of the table with 6 points as well as a goal difference of +6. Argentina in second place thanks to their victory over India. And Germany, of course, also winning against India but losing against Netherlands in their last game, which has just affected their goal difference a little bit. A possibility for whoever wins here to maybe finish in second position in this Pool B, and that'll mean a possible clash against whoever finishes third in Pool A. Big match, of course, because Argentina in recent years have been some sort of a bogey team sometimes for Germany, including at the last World Cup, where Argentina ran out 1-0 winners thanks to a goal from Manuel Brunet, who takes one of the starting places in this team. They have supported this Hero Champions Trophy in good numbers, especially the children of Bhubaneswar, and we're quite thankful for their support. Argentina are in blue. Germany, the two-time defending Olympic champions as well as 9 times champions of the Champions Trophy, are in white, sharing a few smiles. And we will soon be ready with the action, but before that we'll have the national anthems of the two nations.
Outstanding to the national anthem of Germany.
Now remember, results in the pool stages are just incidental because all teams have already qualified in a sense for the quarterfinal places, but what will matter for the coaches is to just smoothen a few of those rough edges which were visible in the first couple of games. There have been a few for both teams. Argentina in particular in the last game had to fall back twice and come back from that to record a 4-2 victory. The heroes of that victory, goal scorers Lucas Villa, Juan Lopez also got a goal, and there were some exciting performances from Joaquin Menini, who starts on the bench, as well as Agustin Mazzilli. They have Juan Vivaldi in goal, and Gonzalo Peña hasn't as yet scored a goal in this tournament for head coach Carlos Retehi, who's also coached the women's team. In fact, did a double job with both of them and took them to bronze medal finishes at the World Cup in Den Haag over the summer. Germany give Felix Royce a run out in this game, the reserve goalkeeper, and they have some quality in that side. Christopher Ruhr, who's the reigning young player of the year, as well as the reigning player of the year, Tobias Hoka, who resumes his captaincy duties today. Moritz Fuster, who's his co-captain, won that similar title 1 year before. And Marcus Weiser, who shares something other than the fact that he's also coached the women's team with his opposite number, the two of them have the same date of birth. So they will be celebrating their birthday on the 19th of December. But there will be no love lost at the moment between either the coaches or the teams, because this is the last chance, in a sense, to have some sort of a margin of error before the knockouts begin. Peter Wright is one of the umpires for today's game, and he's joined by Gareth Greenfield of New Zealand, and Andrew Kennedy of England is the video umpire for this particular fixture. First of 4 matches, last day of group or pool action in this Hero Champions Trophy, all set for what should be a magnificent day's hockey. Just a little bit hot and humid out there at the moment, 28 degrees C, real feel of 33 degrees, and there's a relative humidity of 59%, which will just make things a little sticky and uncomfortable, particularly for the Germans.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Off we go. It's the Argentinians who push things back. They are in blue. They are playing from right to left on your TV screens. Up against them in white are the Germans. I'm Devanson. Joining me in the commentary box is former England and GBR goalkeeper Simon. Good morning to you, Simon.
Wonderful, Anne. And looking forward to maybe a classic, maybe not. Argentina, for them, it's been more scrappy and dogged as opposed to a classic performance. And Germany have done everything in this tournament except score many goals. They've got in some fantastic positions, but coach Marcus Weiser is going to be looking for better outcomes than his team have seen so far.
This time it's been picked up in midfield by Zwicker, that's for sure. Only 2 goals coming in, and both from the stick of Florian Fuchs. And another interesting fact, both these teams, the only ones not yet scored from a penalty corner. So the only teams which have that department to look after 2 games. Swept through, good long ball which has been well received. It's looking quite promising here for the Germans, moving through with good pace as well. Just couldn't seal the deal.
Yeah, Fuchs getting checked as it came into the circle. Long ball initially came from the back from Förster, and Florian Fuchs, nothing wrong with the tackle from Piat in front of him.
Few young players who have been brought along by Marcus Weiser have impressed, and that is, I suppose, one of the essences of this tournament for a lot of the teams. Brought along some younger players, the likes of Oruz, Nguyen, who has been a regular in recent times. This is Zwicker. All the way through, was missed by the man in the middle. That was young Oruz. Falls instead for the Argentinians.
You're right, Abayan. A lot of these teams here have brought some younger players in for a variety of reasons. Some of the the German more senior players are playing back home in their indoor league, and they've brought a couple of new faces, but those players have been around the junior setup through junior World Cups. For a lot of teams it's exactly the same. You have to blood your players somewhere. They're all involved in the programme to some extent, but the chance to bring them not only to a major tournament but also to different climatic conditions, cultural features, is a great learning experience.
Argentina themselves have a few players who did play in the Junior World Cup back in India in December last. One of them was expected and still is expected to make a big impact at the Hero Champions Trophy, Gonzalo Peña. And if and when there is a penalty corner opportunity, he will be looked at to try and break his duck in terms of goal scoring. At the moment, no goals to report. Early stages in this match, 4 quarters of 15 minutes apiece. Germany, of course, got off to a winning start. Defeated India with a last-minute, literally last-touch goal almost from Florian Fuchs. But in the second game, ran into what was a relentless Dutch machine, 4-1. The result in the favour of the Orange Army.
And at the top of the programme, Devine, you mentioned that World Cup result for the Argentinians, and it would not surprise me to see the Argentinians sitting deep, slowing the game down, looking for the quick counter-attacks. Players such as Mazzilli and Villa quite happy to be given the ball to run one-on-one. Over distance, 30-40 metres away. The Germans, however, will be looking to build more structurally through midfield and get more players committed to the attack.
On that previous occasion, Hocker was looking for Rohr, but just didn't get across to anybody in a Germany shirt. That is why possession is back with the Argentinians. Slipped through, and yet again a bit of a mistake in defense from Nicholas Wellen, another one of their young players, just 19 years of age. Back with Argentina, down the right flank, Lucas Villa. He was the winner of the man of the match in the previous game against India, where it must be said Argentina showed a lot of character, came back twice from being a goal down. This is bobbling about just inside the D and could have been dangerous, and as a result Germany now have possession.
But this is interesting because the Argentinians have gone straight to video referral, and I believe initially that they're right, because the ball was lifted up off a German stick, but it depends where Peter Wright perceives the danger was created. So initially the lift was outside the circle. Peter Wright allows it to come in, and we'll see the replays in a moment to determine where the danger was created.
Please, will you check the danger involved around there, please? Thank you.
Okay, I will look for a dangerous ball by the German defence.
Thank you.
What I think we're going to see is the ball comes up outside the circle, but it's a German stick here. It's first to jumps to bring it down. I think he brings it down into congestion. That's then up off a German stick to create the danger. I think the Argentinians could well get a corner out of this. That lift isn't perceived to be dangerous, wasn't blown. It's coming down to a player in space. That's fine. That's the touch that lifts it a second time up off the stick of Muller. Peter Wright blew the lift once the ball had come into the circle. So it's not the touch outside the D initially, in my opinion, that's relevant. Right, so the ball's up there. That's the touch down from first. It takes it into the circle. Then Muller lifts it for a second time. The Argentinians don't touch it at any point.
Scaglioni was closest to it and immediately was looking at Peter Wright.
Neither team have set themselves looking down at the pitch in front of us as we can see it. Quite often you get a feel for what's going to happen based on the player lineup setting themselves. In essence, it would have been easier if Peter Wright had blown the initial lift, but his whistle came to his lips. He wasn't worried about it. Then he blew it at that point. The players were close together.
There's no reason to change. All right, from up top there, so we restart with the bully. Okay, nothing. All right, play on, play on.
So what we heard was there's no reason to change the decision. If there's no reason to change the decision, does that mean the Argentinians lose their referral? Because that's different to no advice possible.
All right, just hold on, I'm just listening. Yeah, then it's to free it out. Fish, just come back to that, please.
For me, I don't think he's blown your whistle, so therefore again you should restart with a bully.
Restart with the bully.
Yeah, did you blow your whistle? I don't think you blew your whistle.
Right. Peter. Okay. Okay, yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we restart with the bully. Argentina lose their referral. Correct.
You have to feel that's a little bit harsh, because at no point were Argentina anywhere near touching that ball. So at some point the Germans lifted it up either outside the circle or inside the circle, and Argentina have come away with absolutely nothing.
Yes, it also looked initially like it might have taken a touch from first up. It definitely did hit the stick of young Matthias Muller, one of the uncapped players brought by Marcus Weiser. But what matters here is it's still 0-0, and as you can see from that red dot right next to Argentina, they have lost that right of referral for the rest of this game. This is what just happened a while ago.
No, this is Retegui having a word with the technical officials on the sideline. He obviously disagrees with that. We've heard that the video umpire's perception was the ball at all times, whilst it was high, was knocked away from the Argentinian players. Therefore, there wasn't really any particular danger. Certainly, that shouldn't have been given a corner.
Ball swept in by Fook, but just couldn't find his man inside. And back with the Argentinians, who look to pull away with a counter-offensive of their own. Not too many men back there. And Brunei cannot quite keep it in play.
Well, in these early stages, the pitch will have been heavily watered, as we talked about before. The climate such that the evaporation is relatively high. It's not going to be that high because of the humidity, so there's nowhere for the water to go. It also makes it incredibly hard on the players because the bodies heat up, the sweat starts to drip, but there is no way for it to evaporate. Not a lot of breeze down there on the pitch.
Possession in a dangerous part here for Germany, just looking to sweep this one in, but failing in his attempt again, and it opens up an opportunity now for a counter-attack. It's Menini, who had a good game against India.
And that is exactly what the Argentinians will look to do. Super advantage from Greenfield, the umpire, to allow Manini to run. He's gone from his own 20 yards all the way past the halfway line. And Argentina will be looking for those individual skill outcomes.
Is Manuel Brunet, the man who got the winner in the 1-0 victory during the World Cup in the summer. Martinez slotted it in, and he was looking for a finish from Manini.
Yeah, if Manini had committed to that cross a little bit more, there'd have been a goal chance. You see here, he gets his feet round. That's the important bit, gets his feet round, body in the right place, hits it dead flat off his right foot, but Manini hasn't committed on the forehand. That's the space he should have been in, right in front of Vinfeder.
Kolk all the way back to the defense. Förster through to Zwicker. Good stick work from him, just bustling through this midfield, finding a foot there of Pedro Ibarra, and a late decision, but does go the way of the Germans. Germany, one would think, just struggling a little bit to find their rhythm, and that might be down to what Simon did mention at the start of the telecast, that Argentina, the way that they play, will sit deep, will defend well.
Well, the crowd enjoying it and thinking that Rua had indeed scored. Ball comes straight in. Touch, it does get a little glance off a foot. Argentina, suggestion it should have been a German long corner. Difficult to see in real time though. Tiny glance and blow. Yeah, and as we thought, Argentina backing off all the way to the halfway line, meaning that Förster has to carry the ball forwards. What will tend to happen then is the midfield, the German midfield, will post up and try and receive the ball from the back line, making it very difficult for them, putting them a long way away from the Argentinian goal.
Arnold down the right, getting some support, quick give and go, but well intercepted and given away. Christopher Ruhr was in fine fettle during the Junior Hockey World Cup. 7 of those players in the squad here at the Hero Champions Trophy. Mazzilli.
Mazzilli doing superbly well to keep possession, given 4 white shirts around him.
Really is a terrific player, especially when it comes to his ball skills, and showed in the last game his positional ability is second to none. Got the 3rd goal for the team, and then played an assist in allowing Manini to score the 4th against India. Oh, this time just a little scrambled in defense, and eventually managed to do enough to upset Grambusch.
2 players missing the overheads. Grambusch getting it by virtue of an Argentinian player sliding on the turf.
That's a terrific take, and also finding the foot.
If we look at the areas where Argentina are having to defend, the Germans changing tactics slightly. In the previous games we've seen them go around the baselines quite well. Now they seem to be cutting in on earlier midfield channels to attack the head of the circle, perceiving maybe for Marcus Weiss that they haven't quite got the understanding with these young players to attack the baseline, so going into different channels.
Lucas Villa onto Ibarra, gets some support from the right. Lopez onto Villa once again. Argentinians, on the other hand, quite happy to use the width of the pitch. Speaking of which, almost a great run from the Germans, but intercepted. Not quite hit the full straps as yet in this Hero Champions Trophy, that's for sure. Germany in their first game had a few chances against India, were denied on a few occasions by Srijesh, eventually got their winner, but particularly against Netherlands, there was something missing, wasn't there, Simon?
Yeah, it's a fluidity and understanding, and that's when teams may not have picked this competition as the peak of their year. They might have looked at other things, the World Cup earlier, those teams that are here that were at the Commonwealth Games. We don't know what they've prioritised, but in doing so, if they pick this tournament for a degree of development, then we might not see that understanding from players who don't necessarily play with each other all the time. However, someone like the Dutch, with the fluidity they have, that shows a developed and mature team who really are linking together well.
Well developed and mature is this man, Lucas Villa. Terrific run from him, getting some space for himself, also shielding the ball well, but eventually loses out in possession. Back with the Germans. Grambusch Oruz. All the way back to Forster, who's very, very strong, right in the heart of defense. This time building up on him, back down the left. Zwicker. Arnold has acres of space on the right, but choosing to go down the left is Forster, who's the co-captain of this team, along with Tobias Hawker, who was in a good position in midfield, but that was intended instead for Benedict Foch. Now moving forward once again. Stick check, which leads to a free hit for the Germans. They've possibly in the last few minutes just lorded over the possession a little bit more, spent more time in the Argentinian side of the pitch. That's why Felix Ross hasn't had to do much under the goal.
Well, but it's no surprise to me that he's been brought in. You have to say that Nicolas Jacobi, by his own world-class standards, just pausing because that's a green card for Forster. His front foot slips, so there's nothing malicious, but there is impact. So Forster, and he's come out of the heart of defence. Sorry, I've got that play completely wrong. That's not Forster coming out at all. It's Grambush who went into the tackle, but it was still the same thing. His front foot slipped.
There's a little bit of time in the sin bin. Can Argentina capitalize on that? Because this is pretty much the closing stages of this first quarter. We have seen in this Hero Champions Trophy, teams tend to be a little bit vulnerable, both close to the finish of quarters as well as just after the restart.
Well, and as we saw just in that bottom corner with Velen going to ground, that's the issue in the tackle, the green card that we've just seen. Players have to just be so careful because the pitch is a little bit slippery, so if you accelerate into a tackle, the idea being that when you plant your front foot to stop your momentum, the grips on the bottom of the shoes dig into the turf, create friction, and the body stops. If that friction isn't there, then the momentum, because these are big guys, they don't look it out there, huge athletes, and they will step into tackles hard. If you slip, the impact can be significant.
Well, what a run this is turning out to be. Sliding through that defense and almost getting some support as well. Eventually does win a free hit for his team, Polk. Germany looking to finish this first quarter on a high. They have perhaps had the better of the possession of the ball, but not converted into anything significant just as yet. Polk driving through, but well defended. Still with Germany though.
And Germany able to come so high up the pitch because that Argentinian defence has just sat away to absorb all of the pressure. Players such as Velen able to get himself out onto the outsides, get his feet round. And it's a key to momentum in attack, is if as a player you're receiving it, you can have your feet pointing in the direction that you want to go. So a ball from left to right, you let it come across the body.
That's a superb ball, and it's also been beautifully taken by Fuchs. He's already had 2 goals in this Hero Champions Trophy, cutting it back, but just couldn't find the Germany shirt.
And Greenfield seemed quite happy as the umpire to let that go. Foot came in down the baseline, and all of a sudden there was contact. The ball comes in here, lovely sliding past, easily to get his feet round Fuchs as he drives the baseline. That's the suggestion of the tackle. I think if they'd gone to video, they may well have found that that's a foul and therefore a corner. Surprises me they haven't called that. Definite impact.
Yes, the defender there was Hilardi. He's had a slightly shaky Hero Champions Trophy in the couple of games that we've seen him. Normally quite rock solid. He's the one with this long ball here, intended for his striker, but picked up instead by the Germans. First to it was Moritz Polk. Back with Argentina now, possibly the last attack of this first quarter. Can they finish it off with a goal? It's Lucas Villa, but he will run out both of yardage as well, possibly of time here in this first quarter between Argentina and Germany. It's a Pool B fixture, and after the first 15 minutes, it's Argentina 0, Germany 0. Perhaps the better of the chances falling to Germany, especially towards the end. There was a gilt-edged opportunity which almost fell for Florian Fuchs. And just a suggestion that there might have been a contact stick check from Juan Hilardi, which could have led to a penalty corner. As things stand, instead, it's Argentina who nearly had a penalty corner of their own early on in this quarter, but after that Germany just establishing a little bit of control. But still haven't had a goal yet in this match. It has been rich in goals, this Hero Champions Trophy. 40 goals in the previous 8 matches. And that's what we're expecting on this third day as well. As the teams change gears, there should be a few more goals as well. England, by the way, have scored the most goals, 11 in this Hero Champions Trophy thus far. India with the least, with only 2 goals.
Si yo meto la presión y me quedo con Furte, los tipos, el otro central no es ningún boludo, va a venir con la pelota. Y es mejor que vengan por afuera que vengan por el medio. Sí, Pedrito, no te pases.
Some words of wisdom. What do you think Coach Carlos Retegui would be saying there?
Well, they need to look for the longer balls earlier. I think they're going a little bit too route one. They need to find players such as Mazzilli and Villa a little bit higher up the pitch, but they're not going to do that for a set German defence. As they win the ball back in their deep defence, they need to go sideways before they go forwards.
A little bit more old-fashioned there, Marcus Pfizer, but apart from that, coaches these days with all kinds of equipment, lots of video analysis in the game these days, isn't it, Mace?
There is a huge amount of that, but there is nothing better than a board and a pen as a coach on the sideline. Scribble, re-scribble, draw some pretty patterns, show your team at that moment. There's nothing complicated about good coaching. Simple instructions, real clear tactics.
Was just looking to see if Germany have effected any change in goalkeeping. That isn't the case, so Royce does continue for the second quarter, as does Vivaldi in goal for the Argentinians, who start off things in the second quarter.
Well, yet again we see a team coming out slightly late. Ball's being carried outside the left foot, making it almost impossible for Nguyen Long to make an effective tackle.
Yes, just to explain that point, there is a 2-minute clock which teams have to look at. Now this could be a chance. Facundo Caglioni inside the D and in a spot of bother as well.
Yeah, Furk doing very well to get Caglioni outside the D, pushing him away from the danger area. The initial receipt was inside the circle.
Not surprising, Carlos Retegui himself was a stolid defender in his own time. 3-time Olympian, 1996, 2000 as well as 2004. And that's something that's drilled well into his teams.
A solid defender. That's a nice way of putting it. I was fortunate enough to play on the same pitch on a number of occasions, and yes, he certainly protected his own space well.
Winfeder. Still with the Germans. They have definitely seen a lot more of the ball, but not been able to convert it into much of significance. That is something that will worry Marcus Pfizer, because normally this team does create a lot of goal-scoring opportunities. Hasn't happened thus far in this match.
No, but they handle the ball so well, but there's no specific routines that you can identify where they're trying to get the ball. And I feel with this relatively young side, they need to prioritise some channels better.
This is a good long ball, and it was missed by the man in midfield, who was Brunet. Luckily for him, there was some great defense. Absolutely beautiful. It's been picked up by Villa, and the man who presented that pass was the captain, Matthias Paredes, who himself is an absolutely stunning player. The number 10 again.
Well, into the midfield. We get a little behind the ball, behind the back pass, so we got feet round, eyes up. Villa just trying to attack space. There's a little touch to Villa in the first instance.
Yes, a bit like what Lionel Messi might do with a back pass, and he wears the same number 10 as well for Argentina. This, of course, is hockey. We are at Bhubaneswar's Kalinga Stadium for the third day of the Hero Champions Trophy. Argentina versus Germany. Pretty significant encounter in Pool B, which could well decide who finishes second. Now this is a chance. Oh, a snapshot and a goal as well. Argentina drawing first blood. Coach Carlos Retegui is quite pleased with himself, and it's that man, Matthias Paredes.
Classic Argentinian goal, outside, smashed across Paredes, brilliant centre forward pick, step away, Bosch. Again, the German goalkeeper getting nutmegged with a shot. We had it with Jacobi in the game before, and now Royce has suffered the same fate. Feet are just slightly too wide from that. You feel that as that was touched, he needed to step forward for his defender. The defender's backed away, given Paredes the time and space to twist and fire.
The last time these two teams met in 2008, the scoreline was 2-2. One of the goals for Argentina was scored by Matthias Paredes, and he has repeated that feat today. It's now up to the Germans to chase this game. They are perfectly capable of it, and the good news, of course, lots and lots of time left in this match.
I think what we'll see, though, is we will see the Argentinians backing away in defence. They're not going to go out and put a full court press on for two reasons, really. Tactically, they're happy to sit back and absorb. They've done it many, many games over the last 12 months. Simply the conditions, you do not want to be chasing a game in 60% humidity. It's going to be horribly sticky, difficult to get the oxygen into the lungs, so you don't want to be running any more than you have to. You want to save that sprinting until you really need to lead and defend and tackle.
Lucas Villa on to Martinez. Oh, it's a poor giveaway by Ray, and a chance for Germany to come up with something of their own. Fuchs, just at 23, the oldest forward in this German team.
But as Fuchs drove forward, he had no width in attack. There were 5 German players, but they were all in a 10-metre channel down the middle of the pitch. So easy to defend against. He needs players off his shoulders to do the little drop-off balls we've seen in previous games.
And a slightly inexperienced defensive line today, barring Foster, which is why perhaps Argentina getting these opportunities. Menini with another sensational run, wins a penalty corner for his team. Argentina turning it on here.
Menini, great skills as it goes outside, cuts back in, making people just look pedestrian in the end. It's Arnold's foot that he puts it onto and the ball pops up. That's a soft corner to give away. Defenders should be better. They should be a full stick length away. Lovely skills, great awareness, knows exactly what he's trying to do, just pulls it back over the stick. Tilt Arnold, top edge into his own chin.
Brings in Gonzalo Peña, who's somewhere in that huddle there. Matthias Ray is in there, as is Brunet, but number 2, watch out for him. Peña with a good drive, but just wide.
Well, that's a great save from Royce, leading to his right-hand side. Out to the top, a little bit taken off the injection. Payat making sure, and that's a superb bit of goalkeeping. Name check for one of our co-commentators from the World Cup, Quentin Hull, nicknaming that man the big Gonzo as he rolled up to the top of the circle. That time it wasn't particularly powerful from him, not the world class we saw 9 months ago yet.
The good news, of course, for all teams, they are into the quarterfinals, so it's also a matter of finding some form, finding some momentum, and one gets the impression Argentina, with each game they are playing, at the moment they look like they're just getting better and better. Lucas Villa looking for some support, but given away, and possession comes to Germany finally. A little bit of a relief for this defensive line. Not much of experience there. They're making some mistakes, but they weren't punished for the last one.
Well, here we see the penalty corner again. They weren't punished from. The whole routine just looks a little bit pedestrian. Royce had clear vision of the ball. Pierre knows that he didn't catch it well.
Stunning for these two teams not to have scored from penalty corners yet. Have players of quality on both sides. That's looking like a decent run, and he has one. Oh, he has in fact given away possession. Nicholas Wellen, another young man in this man's side.
I don't know whether Marcus Weiss is frustrated by the fact that Wellen picked the ball up and then managed to kick it himself, or at the umpiring decision because Wellen thought that he hadn't kicked it at all. Either way, frustrated with no outcome.
One of several players with fewer than 10 caps, in fact playing his 10th match in a Germany shirt today, Wellen. And once again was part of that youth squad last December. 2014 has been a year to forget. Didn't do particularly well at the Hero World League finals as well in January. And of course at the World Cup, not the kind of finish that they would have been expecting.
No, that's it. Perception-wise, that's from their perspective in terms of what we would expect of Germany. They're still a world-class outfit competing in the top echelons of international hockey, and Argentina breaking into that and proving that they can get up there and fight for similar results. But the actual performance standards of both these teams very high. It's just because of the bar they've set for themselves over the last 20 years. They may feel a little disappointed in the last 12 months.
This is Wellen down the right, gets it into the D, looking for a give and go, but well intercepted. Lucas Villa, his work rate exceptional once again.
It's clever from Villa, dropping the ball away to his midfield so that he can then start that longer forward lead to provide one of 2 targets away out to the left of our shot. Just longer ball targets so that he can get his one-on-one skills going, eliminate the last defender.
And significantly relying now on those long balls, the Argentinians, even in defense, with no real pressure. Although possession has been more for Germany, but it is Argentina who've perhaps made a little bit more of those 44%.
Well, exactly, you look at that circle penetration, so Germany with more possession, but not getting into the circle, and the Argentinians turning 3 possessions into 2 shots, whereas the Germans have had nothing for Vivaldi to do. What a great bit of skill and turn. Exceptional down that right-hand side from Mazzilli.
Well, he is one of my favorite players in this Hero Champions Trophy. And perhaps that's why he's nicknamed Ninja.
Well, look at the ball. Picked up, bounced, gone to the air. Prior to that, however, an amazing 360-degree spin.
I should apologize, just confusing him with the reserve keeper, who's also called Agustin, but his name is Abrate. He's nicknamed Ninja. Mazzilli goes by the name of Pajaro, which means a bird, so does fly around a bit, and that's what he brings to the attacking table here for Argentina. Once again, with possession, quite happy on the ball when they get it. Looking for Mazzilli. He receives it beautifully up against Tobias Hawker.
Yeah, well, there's an Argentinian there, 1 man versus 4. Now, a player won't mind 1-on-1 or even 1-on-2 defenders, but you feel that asking him to go 1-on-4 against a set German backline containing Hauke and Förster is possibly asking a little bit much.
Yes, the 2 defending World Players of the Year. Förster for 2012 and Hawker 1 year after that.
This is the huge overhead. Now Hauke's on the chase, so we've got, all of a sudden, we've got Mazzilli in space and able to take that down.
Here's Menini. Giving away possession, but nothing of significant has happened for Germany, particularly in the second quarter. Looked a lot more composed in the first. Now this is a poor giveaway, and it's happened, of all people, from Hawker. Now it's 2-on-2, getting into a great position. Menini goes for a shot. Sensational finish from Joaquin Menini. His second goal in this Hero Champions Trophy, but yet again, superb assist and a great pass from Matias Paredes.
Second goal for Argentina.
Well, it's an awful giveaway. Hauke has it stolen off him and it's touched under his arm. That's the run from Menini. Now, I don't understand Royce's hand position. His right hand on the slow-mo. Look at his right hand down. Needs that up. Big right hand foam to make the save from that shot.
Really has been one of the goals of this Hero Champions Trophy and takes him along to 2 goals. Joint second position in terms of goal scorers, joins the likes of Florian Fuchs, Chris Cirello, Ali Brogdon and Dieter van Puffelen with 2 goals in this Hero Champions Trophy. Sam Ward of England still leading the charts with 3 goals. What an outstanding start for the young Englishman. He will be in action in the second game today against Belgium. Here come Germany. They will be smarting, won't they, Mace?
They will be smarting from that. I mean, Hauke will be personally smarting just simply for having the ball taken off him. But it wasn't that. It was then a combination of poor defensive lines. I think average goalkeeping in terms of hand position. It was a great finish from Menini, but if Royce had had his hands up rather than just trying to be a big block, I think he could have been more effective. But it was a fantastic strike.
Somebody who's impressed a lot in the last couple of games. Now here come Germany once again. Förster. Muller. Förster once again. Down the right. A little bit more conventional, looking to attack from the baseline.
And these are the positions, again, that Germany get to time and time again, but they don't go anywhere from this bottom corner. In the past, you'd have had a combination of players, and Milkau and Zeller, stepping in to really create danger from those bottom corners. But the outcomes for Germany, they just need to look at what they're trying to do. We've got contact in the circle beneath us, though. There's going to be the word. Greenfield away to our right. Weiss is looking at the incident. Umpire away from players, having a quiet word with defenders. The other umpire is making sure that he knows what is expected.
You don't react. 2-6. 2-6? No, I'm not.
Just a little pat on the back on Mats Grambusch from Juan Vivaldi. Quite a character he is too. What matters is there is a free hit and there have been no cards flashed for that last little incident. Mini incident, if one can call it that. Handbags at 40 paces. Not quite. Nguyen. Winfeder. Swept through, it's a good touch in, but well read by the defender, Gonzalo Peña.
Well, the Germans have got fantastic shape around this compact Argentinian defence, but just failing to break down. A rotation to bring Förster out here down the right-hand side. Higher and more midfield position, which we're used to seeing him in. Maybe he can be more effective. It's Nguyen Long who's gone into the back line to give him that opportunity to step up.
This is a good run coming in from Grambusch. Was looking for the penalty corner, didn't quite happen.
So Hauke got robbed. Manini comes into 10 yards. I think as a goalkeeper, you have to see that coming. There's no way that Hauke could get a good tackle in on Manini. The player inside for the pass was covered. Förster was back in a decent support position. Royce could have committed out of his goal there into a one-on-one, something that Jacobi does very well, which is step forward into those contest situations.
Yes, he is a massive, imposing figure, is Nico Jacobi, but didn't have the most impressive of games in the last match as a result today. In any case, useful for Royce to have some match experience out there. Wouldn't want somebody completely cold for the knockouts.
No, and different teams have different tactics. We've actually seen the Australians rotate their goalkeepers every quarter. The English have played both of theirs so far this competition. And the Germans now rotating theirs. It is vital, just in case, if Jacobi was to get an injury and he's played 3 or 4 games in a row, and suddenly his compatriot needs to come in cold, it's not a great thing to happen.
Marcus Weiser will be willing his team on to get 1 goal in at this stage with just about 80 seconds or so left on the clock. Argentina looking to move forward. Paredes, the provider of that sensational second goal and the scorer of the first.
What a pass!
Oh, beautifully done. Matthias Rey picked Lucas Villa beautifully.
I've seen him on the backhand. Villa's led for the deflection, gets as much on it as he can. What a bit of vision and delivery from Rey in the middle of the pitch. That is just exceptional. The Argentinians loving those long balls, looking for tip-ins.
Well, they had a 45-hour flight to get here, but it seems quite evident that the South Americans are enjoying themselves in the heat and humidity here in Bhubaneswar. Turning on a great performance. They have been a bit of a bogey team for Germany in the past, and that might well be the case again today. Nguyen, just his first touch taking the ball quite far away from him, but does well to retrieve it into the last 30 seconds. And Germany make up and get 1 goal back in here. Menini, who scored that second goal to add to one from Matthias Paredes, both scored in this quarter. Zwicker, no way through. The experienced Pedro Ibarra is first to it. This is Moritz Förster. Sending it in, missed by a couple of defenders. Still could have fallen for Germany, but coming off a German foot. And that's why the Argentinian defense does well enough to save themselves. Terrific 2 quarters of hockey. Argentina in particular turning it on in the second quarter at halftime at Bhubaneswar's Kalinga Stadium. It's Argentina 2, Germany 0. Goals from Matthias Paredes, and then turning provider, the captain himself. Beautiful pass which found Menini with a sweeping shot. Very, very strong shot which gave no chance to or rather Felix Royce. And the goalkeeper from Germany found wanting on a couple of occasions. How can the Germans respond? 9 times champions up against the team which has only had a 3rd place finish in 2008 as their best ever in this Hero Champions Trophy. So this battle for possibly 2nd place in Pool B is still very much on. Halftime scoreline: Argentina 2, Germany 0. when Argentina and Germany play each other in the Champions Trophy. It's always been quite even, Stevens, and that is the case today as well. But Argentina have really turned on the charm in the second quarter. 18th minute strike from Matias Paredes and Joaquin Menini adding a second in the 26th minute. Simon Mason alongside me. Simon, that second quarter effectively belonging to the Argentinians.
Yeah, and it was started well with a classic centre-forward pick, get your feet round the ball and fire through a static goalkeeper. Paredes leading into the middle of the circle, an Argentinian cross. They've done it so many times, looking for longer ball, for deflections and collections and picks.
This was a terrific bit of goalkeeping though from Felix Royce. Although Gonzalo Peña will be a little bit disappointed.
Yeah, he didn't flick it that hard. This, however, was the finish from Menini. To steal in midfield, it was so good. But Menini gets his eyes up, glances at the goalkeeper before he even gets to the circle. Royce just static, hands down by his sides in his pockets.
These are the numbers for this match thus far. Circle penetrations 5-3 for Argentina. Although the possession has been much more for Germany, they haven't had a single shot. And that has obviously led to no goals as yet from them in this match. Both teams yet to score from any penalty corners. Argentina had that one opportunity, but it just didn't fall their way. Just to remind you that we are on social networking, on Facebook at FI Hockey, and we are also on Twitter at FIH_hockey. Terrific crowd response here in Bhubaneswar. The morning sessions, Simon, have also been very well attended.
Yeah, there's a great local commitment to hockey and interest. And yes, we've got the schools and the colleges sending people into this. They've done it really, really well to fill this stadium and to give the players in the early games some atmosphere to feed off.
This is our Twitter handle on your screens, FIH_hockey. You can also send it in with the hashtag CT2014. And you can also send the hashtag best of the best, because that is what was on offer in this Hero Champions Trophy. 8 of the best teams in men's hockey in the world these days. And Argentina have really been good today. Great commitment from the entire Argentinian team.
Yeah, and I think that's what has been a feature of the teams through this competition who've done well. It's the interchange between players. So looking at that second goal, Hauke picks it in midfield. The ball's stolen off him by Paredes as he turns the wrong way. But watch Paredes continue to run after he gives it to Menini. Far post, complete commitment. If that ball had come across the goal, he would have scored. And it's that understanding. Great first time steal, never giving up. Hauke tries to stick check to protect it. Now the ball's put under the arm and he still continues to accelerate. I think Royce should have stepped up now, because he's just not going to do anything from there. He's committed to his near post, leaves a massive gap, but sliding full length. Paredes, captain's performance in that issue. In he goes. Would have scored if it had been a cross for the tip-in.
Class player as well. 259th cap, loads and loads of experience for the 32-year-old. And it must be mentioned that Argentina have just held a little bit of a jinx over the Germans in this format. Lost in 1987 in their first meeting at the Champions Trophy when West Germany beat them 4-0. But since then, in 2003, 2 victories. There was a victory for Germany in 2006, but the last match in 2008 in Rotterdam did finish in a 2-all draw. But for that to happen, there will have to be a big fight back here from the Germans. And they'll also have to just raise the standard of their game a little bit, Mace.
Well, they've just got to get something. I mean, it's like the Argentinians are sitting there going, you know what? We'll let them have the ball. They can have the ball. They're not actually threatening us down any channels. They've tried to come to the head of the circle. The Argentinian defence has thwarted that. They've gone around the baseline, but they've got static and they've not been able to eliminate. The Germans, I think, need to prioritise one side of the pitch, work the right-hand channels potentially, bring the left forward across to the baseline and create an overload. Then you'll have some better passing lanes, because I don't think Argentina will shift their whole defence.
Terrific enthusiasm for the game here in Bhubaneswar, and it's good to see girls coming in as well. This is a very popular sport in these parts. Girls play it quite well as well. The national team filled with a lot of women who have represented Odisha, the state that Bhubaneswar belongs to. Germany slightly inexperienced, but not lacking in spirit, and that is the spirit that they will need to invoke in the second half, which is just about to begin, with the Germans having swapped ends, now going to be hitting from right to left in white, and up against them in blue, the Argentinians. What will be key is how their young players adapt early on in this quarter. Must soak up the pressure when the Argentinians do come with their counter-attacks, but they've got to also look to be constructive when attacking. This ball from Folk just going through without any contact. Lucas Rossi. Quick return from Ibarra.
Sorry, Devon, I was going to say, looking at the bottom of the picture, Zwicker there wanting to step up to Argentina, but looking off his shoulders to see if he's got midfield support. As a forward, you can't step out in a press on your own. If you do so, you expose the passes down your inside to the opposition midfield. So as he's stepping out, that highlights that lack of understanding. He's waiting for a call, he's waiting for some direction and instruction, and it's not coming quickly enough.
Still with the Germans though, but Argentina defending in good numbers inside their own half of the pitch. Oh, just a little bit sloppy there from Muller, almost losing out in possession, but still with the Germans. Coming down the right, Zwicker.
I agree, it was almost losing out, but he did brilliantly whilst falling over to actually retain possession for his team. If he had lost it, there was 3 Argentinians bearing down on a 2-man German backline.
I suppose it wouldn't have been too much different for you being a goalkeeper, but the stick really is an extension of your body, isn't it, sometimes?
I'd like to think so, although on occasion you'd question that.
It goes out for a sideline ball for the Argentinians. Looking like they are in cruise control at the moment. Remember their last major meeting at the World Cup, won by Argentina 1-0, leading 2-0 at the moment in this Pool B fixture of the Hero Champions Trophy.
Argentina now just with a little bit of rhythm around the back, quite happy to just keep possession until Rua steps out, and there's a call because 2 other players have gone with him. Argentina being forced into turnover just simply by the aggression of the attacking running.
And you would expect that from a German team which is trailing 2-0 in this match. They have the ability to come back, and that is what Argentinian defense will be aware of. This was sent through and needed to be controlled, just couldn't do that.
Difficult ball in for Fuchs to control. It's drilled in hard. He just misses that by all of about 2 inches. It's the right pick-up position though for a forward in that situation. If he'd picked up on his forehand, he would have had to turn and get his feet round. Whereas picking up on his reverse, he could then attack the goalkeeper immediately.
Christopher Ruhr loses out on possession to Rossi. Lopez down the side for him, one of the goal scorers against India 2 nights ago. Now Menini. Denied by some alert defending on that occasion from Benedict Folk. Juan Lopez taking his time with this, looking for some support. Does get it in the shape of Lucas Villa. Lopez will drive this in with a lot of power, but not enough accuracy. But it has taken a deflection and been deemed to be a penalty corner.
Oh, the Germans have gone straight to video referral. I don't know whether it was given for height or for connection with a body, but there was absolutely no contest, and Argentina have all wandered back away to the 25.
The foot or the stick of the German defender.
Oh, the foot.
Yeah, so it's been given for a foot. Gareth Greenfield perceiving that it was a foot. The Germans immediately said no, it wasn't, it was a stick. And there's a casual body language about them, and they've all wandered off, suggesting this will be pretty clear cut, but we shall see.
Looked like foot.
Well, yeah, it's the body position. It's Furk at the back of the picture here, but from that angle you can see that it looks like it from the side camera, but once you get across, it looks toe of stick as it comes away. That's toe of the stick that it bobbles it up, but you can see how it was perceived initially. You've only got to look at the attitudes of the players. They've set up for the long corner already. That's toe of stick. They know that that isn't a penalty corner.
Yes, went of the stick.
It looks like a decision came down. We didn't hear that on our comms from up here. So, however, upheld as not being a foot and it being a toe of the stick, which is why it went across to a long corner. And this is actually something you are not going to see from January the 1st. Long corners, the rules change, therefore it's going to be are put in from the 23-metre line, 25-yard line. So another one of the rule changes that are coming into the game.
It's always a healthy sign, isn't it? Because any game does need to evolve as time progresses, making it a little bit more attractive as a package.
So that contact, arm can't come up in the tackle. As soon as there is that contact, free hit being given.
Back with possession for the Germans. Tell you what, the way that cross from Lopez was struck, had it come off a foot, I doubt the German player would have been walking, because it went at real pace.
Well, the Argentinians do like to crash ball in. A moment ago we saw that reversing from Tejas Ray. Now we see the ball under the arm. Good vision as the ball's pulled under the feet, but it's that metre. It's that metre of difference. That's the second ball within 5 minutes we've seen missed. First one was Christopher Rua.
There's no doubting the quality of this German side, and one gets the impression sooner or later it could pay them rich dividends. That's a good ball and almost was connected. Terrific backhand ball. And could well have been dangerous, but Argentina live to fight another day.
I agree with you, Dubai, as that comes in. Fuchs gets his hands round to try and drill that flat. However, it's away from goal.
And this time it's off the woodwork. Very, very close to the opening goal for Germany. They're getting warmer. This is Nguyen. He's got some support. Chooses to go back. Still with Germany. This third quarter has begun well for them. Traded most of the possession, which anyway was the case in the first half as well. Now, another ball for them. It's Hokka who gets the ball inside. There's a suggestion of a push.
Well, there was a little bit, but on the replay, I think we're going to see with the shot that goes in, it's actually off Vivaldi's toes, I think, from narrow angle. It's off his left-hand kicker, fortunately falling into space. And then Fuchs doesn't get a touch on it. He's at the top of the D and could have just pulled the trigger, but bottom edges it. And then the ball in. So we see here, turn, shot, left kicker, body language is backwards. You can see the red flash of his boots underneath that blue kicker, suggesting that the body weight's in the back of his shorts. Needs to be more aggressive with his core and his knee to get that kicker flat.
Lively start to this third quarter from the Germans, but possession now with Menini. Walk in, Menini looking to make something happen down the right. Get some support now from Juan Lopez. Lopez does win a free hit for his team, will also allow some time for his attackers to get into good formations. Put some pressure. Once again, whipped in with a lot of pace. Oh, Royce wasn't sure about that. And it's been given as a penalty corner this time.
It's been given as a penalty corner for obstruction by the goalkeeper because the ball sticks in his pads. Now, I understand why the rule is if it sticks in the pads, it's classified as obstruction, but it's only obstruction if there's a player there to try and get it. I can imagine what First is saying. It's exactly what I'd be saying as a goalkeeper.
We're just looking obviously for the ball stuck in the keeper's pads. Germany is saying there's no one close, and obviously play on.
Okay, so you given a penalty corner for the ball being stuck.
Yeah, so I'd agree it gets stuck in his pads, but look at the proximity of any Argentinian player. It's got stuck just underneath his leg guard there, you can see it, but there's no Argentinian player anywhere near it to that point. The ball comes free and then a player steps in. It's close because there is the Argentinian player who comes in, who possibly, if the ball had been free, would have come into that space if he knew where the ball was. We're looking at Mazzilli, reacts late because he doesn't know where the ball is. Now he sees it and starts to step, but by the time he gets there, the ball is clear.
I have a decision for you. The ball was freed from the goalkeeper's pad in time, therefore there is no foul by the goalkeeper. Restart the game with a bully, and Germany retain their referral.
Okay.
The decision going Germany's way. Again, a good referral taken by the team.
Yeah, and I think that shows in the awareness of the rules of the players. The game is really, really fast, and we can make the assumption it all gets a little bit aggressive. We're going to see here Mazzilli giving the ball back. That's great teamwork. Sorry, sportsmanship, not teamwork. It's not teamwork at all.
Yes, and not quite teamwork when Argentina take on Germany in any sport, one would imagine. Thus far, it has been a good professional performance from them, but this third quarter is seemingly turning somewhat towards the German way. But they will need to score before they can completely feel confident of their fight back. Zwicker sends the ball in, but it's first to a German stick.
It was very close interchange between Zwicker and Wesley. Zwicker trying to find Wesley, but there's interchange there, and that's a suggestion of third man obstruction. But again, there wasn't a German in close enough proximity to create the obstruction. It's not about two players running into each other or across each other. It's where are the opponents in relation to that action.
Argentina doing what they do best, preserving that lead the way that they can. 2-0 in their favor, relying almost completely now on the counter-attacks. Zwicker sends this one in, but first to it was Ibarra.
And Zwicker, as soon as he'd hit that ball in, so he'd picked it, he'd driven left to right across the circle, across the D, and then hit under his arm, because you can drag the defenders by doing that. But he only moved 2 or 3 metres, and as soon as he'd hit it, he glanced at the bench, suggesting that Marcus Weiser from 40 yards was making himself heard and wasn't best pleased.
Yes, he does do that. He's quite a vocal coach. And his vocal cords did get a lot of exercise against the Netherlands because the team seemingly wasn't quite working out to plan. This time around, it's possession in a good place for Argentina. If they can find a third goal here, then it could make things quite difficult for Germany, considering their goal scoring record, or rather lack of it, in this Hero Champions Trophy. Almost driving his way into the D.
That's great individual skill from Mazzilli. Beautiful left to right and dink and in. Draws the contact from Förster.
25 years of age and quite experienced. 135th cap for Argentina. Does turn out to be quite a decisive player for them in big matches. Hasn't scored today, but has made enough of a nuisance of himself for the German defence.
Yes, he has, and that German defence has been reasonably solid, but I'd question whether now, as the Germans start to come forward and create more circle penetrations, whether Weiser could look at doing something a little bit different, such as throwing Förster into the midfield. When we've had the opportunity to talk to him, he said that he has to put somebody experienced in that back line because he's lost the likes of Maximilian Müller and Martin Heine, so needed to put Förster back there. But the German midfield just isn't performing well enough, and you'd suggest by moving Förster forward, you might create a little bit more attacking influence.
Certainly did see him in a lot more attacking positions when he was playing in the Hockey India League, but that was a different scenario altogether, as rightly pointed out by Simon. A different team setup here, different responsibility. And this is perhaps, after this, the last quarter will be the last chance to just put some oil into those engines before the all-important quarterfinals 2 days from now. Matthias Rey in midfield for Argentina. Gonzalo Peña has had a tidy defensive record right through this tournament.
The German frontline defence is just getting pulled all over the place. As the ball went to the Argentinian back left corner, you would have expected the German left forward to have pushed high into the middle of the pitch to deny that transfer. The transfer was given, and the German backline were offset almost 30 metres away from the opposition. I don't quite understand what they're doing at this point in the game, needing to press out a little bit more to create those chances.
Possibly a mixture of a few factors, the relative inexperience of a few players, the fact that they're also having to cope with the conditions here in Bhubaneswar. But all will be forgiven because the quarterfinal will throw everything open. Every match there is a live match. That is the beauty of this Hero Champions Trophy, where the best of the best take each other on. All the way to the left, Polk. Oh, that's a good giveaway from Argentina's perspective. Getting the ball freely, but just couldn't make the most of it. Oruz.
Good driving run. Hauke comes to the ball. Oruz realising that he'd won the foul and just leaving it behind for Hauke. Better understanding.
Yes, this is looking promising. Hauke is in there. Roer was on the floor. Could still present itself as a chance.
And Hauke showing his experience. He drove around the back because he did find a pass to a player, and it was only some good goalkeeping awareness from Vivaldi as he dived forwards, and the ball then just didn't fall for Germany, and that's unfortunate for them because at half a metre different, there were two forwards looking for the second phase play.
Pilardi all the way to Peya. Argentina happy to keep possession of the ball as we count down towards the end of this third quarter, which has seen a few anxious moments for their defense. They'll be quite pleased if they score at the other end. What's important is Vivaldi has still kept a clean sheet in this match. But Germany have had their moments.
Now we've got Peter Wright far away underneath us, calling across Argentinian Cecilio. And he's called the captain in at the same time, suggesting that something was going on that he didn't like, making sure Paredes passes the message on to Cecilio. It's a yellow card. 5-minute yellow card given. And what I just saw, or what I saw, was a signal for a shirt pull. And we're looking behind this as Hauke comes in. Oh, I can't see anything at the moment in those pictures. Different passage of play potentially. We're looking at a situation where the precedent was set in an earlier game. So Australia-Belgium, we had a joint yellow card for two players off the ball in the circle. And a rule does exist allowing that sort of action to be penalised.
Germany with that man advantage. Oh, there could have been a chance. They still do have a penalty corner here from this piece of action. Almost fell very favourably for Graham Bush. But this is a great opening. Remember, Argentina also don't have a referral now.
Yeah, ball comes in. That's a better pick-up. All of a sudden, drive along the baseline, look for the pull. It got his eyes up. You can see all of a sudden there's 2 feet in there. Yep, the obvious one is German, but Velen looking up, finding the pass. First and foremost, the foot of Ortiz in the middle of the circle.
This could potentially be a huge moment yet in this match. Germany, if they get this goal, it will be ample reward for what has been a workmanlike performance in this third quarter. At the other end, Vivaldi is quite a competent keeper. Up against him, Foster wanted to get that shot going, wasn't trapped cleanly. Follow-up comes in. Vivaldi's first to it, still bobbling around. And in the end, it's Argentina who move away with the ball.
Well, all of a sudden you're in a situation where Germany were nearly undone by an Argentinian counter-attack. It was weird at the top of the circle, which I'm sure we'll see at the replay, because as the ball comes out to Hauke and it bobbles, a knee pad comes off the number 1 runner and nearly flies at Hauke and intercepts his pass into the circle. That's a big push in the back. How's that not some sort of card? All of a sudden Piat's laid into the back of Florian Fuchs.
Remember, Argentina are down to 9 outfield players as a result of the yellow card which was shown to Cecilio, and which will mean that he will begin the first couple of minutes of the fourth quarter as well on the bench. So Argentina will have that disadvantage to begin the fourth quarter with. From that perspective, Germany would love to get a goal here. Still in a good position, Benedikt Fock working his way through.
Germany now will work the ball through channels. They might recycle and go all the way back across the left-hand side. And this 2 minutes left from the Argentine suspension could be punishing for Argentina. Not for the player obviously on the bench, but for the guys having to do his running to cover the defensive positions.
Confirmation of that card and the exact incident which led to that.
So we're looking and seeing holding in the circle. That's where it is. Pretty obvious. If not holding, then certainly the trip.
Absolutely. Lots and lots of action down there, but what matters is Germany haven't as yet been able to translate this improved second half performance into a goal. That means Argentina will probably defend with all their might in these last 10 seconds. Can Germany buy themselves a goal here? Argentina instead who pull away with the ball, but this will just run the clock down till the end of this third quarter after 45 minutes of pulsating play in this Group B fixture. It's Argentina 2, Germany 0. They've had their chances, Germany, but just haven't been able to convert any of those. But they're getting warmer. One gets the impression they could get a goal soon in this match, Mace. And if that happens, we will be in for a very thrilling fourth quarter.
We will be, but it's going to rely on more instinctive interchange. Hauke is getting frustrated, you can see that with Weiser, and it's just individual. So even in those last moments, Florian Fuchs picking the ball up and driving across the top of the circle, but he had nobody to pass the ball to. It would have been an incredible reverse pop into the circle to get any sort of outcome. And that's just speculative. They need to commit more men around the ball to create those opportunities into the circle.
Good to see the Germans are still pumped up for this one. A little fist pump coming in from the reserve keeper for this match, Nico Jacobi, to Felix Royce. It was in Amstelveen in 2003 that Argentina last recorded a victory against the Germans. In fact, did the double. They played them first in the first round, won that 3-1. 2 goals from Jorge Lombi, who was of course the top scorer in that particular edition of the Champions Trophy, and then played a couple of days later in the 6th classification match where Argentina ran out 2-1 winners. So will history repeat itself in that sense? If that happens, then in the head-to-head in Champions Trophy, Argentina will go ahead of Germany 3-2 in terms of matches played. Not if this man can have something to do with it and his teammates. Felix Royce with a slightly better third quarter performance, but it has been helped to a large extent by a little more cohesion in midfield. But it's in the finishing touch that Germans have been lacking right through this Hero Champions Trophy. Off we go for the fourth quarter. One final time in this match. Chance for Germany to come back into this match and challenge for a possible second place finish. Remember that if this does finish in a draw, then Argentina will still be ahead in terms of their goal difference. Still that little suspension to play out for Cecilio, which would suggest, in any case with the 2-goal cushion, that Argentina will start as tight defensively as possible. Mace?
Yeah, they will do, but what the Germans are doing is they've gone to a 4-man forward press when the Argentinians had a 16-yard hit, so the 3 forwards have stepped up. And what the Germans tend to do is they then push one of the defensive line, the back 3 or 4, into the midfield, and similarly push the midfield up to create a front 4. You can then really close down space and put pressure on the ball carrier.
A couple of great passes. Pilt Arnold was the final one to it and almost found Christopher Ruhr, and he did well to actually keep the ball in play. To a sideline ball for the Germans. Tobias Hauke missed by Müller.
Müller now needs his goalkeeper to help him, stepping out to sweep it back. The Förster up the right-hand side.
Zwicker, perhaps one of the Germans who has had a good match today. That's found Christopher Ruhr in a great position. Oh, how did that miss? That would have been easier to score there.
Well, you'd think so. Somehow Christopher Vesely has got the ball underneath Vivaldi. Down the baseline. This is a better pickup. Great spin from Ruhr. Pulls it back to Vesely, who gives it everything, but in doing so, he's over-rotated his upper body. He's pushed through with his right hand too hard, and in doing so has missed that left-hand post.
Happy with what Vivaldi did?
I think Vivaldi did all that he could. He's gone into kind of a combination of a low cricket barrier and a goalie extension with his stick on the right-hand side. It still went under him because of the ball pass that Vesely created, but just too much aggression on that push, getting it across the face of goal.
Well, still a little more than 12 minutes to go, but you would imagine if they manage a clean sheet against a high-quality team like Germany, that could do a world of confidence, a world of good to the confidence of their goaltender, Juan Vivaldi.
Now, you have to say that that is an awful tackle from the returning Cecilio.
Oh, a chance for Germany, but well saved. Smacked straight into him from Vesely, but he needed to be strong and upright, and that's exactly what he was, Vivaldi.
Well, Vivaldi was in the right place, but Vesely didn't connect with it at all as the ball's come into his feet. He's bobbled it at the goalkeeper.
Some chances coming in for Germany, but not being able to make the most of them.
So in the circle, crossfits, the touch that undoes the Argentine defence. Vesely on the turn, it's a great striker's opportunity. That deflection changing the angles. Vivaldi, good awareness. Ouch.
It's not the right kind of area to take a hockey ball coming in at decent speed, but he did well to recover.
I think he's just fortunate that Vesely didn't connect with it as hard as he could. However, as a goalkeeper, just getting yourself, covering those spaces.
Argentina looking for that one killer punch. If they can land that, then that could decisively seal this. Oh, at the edge, getting some space as well, into the goal! Argentina might well have sealed this deal here. Coming in from the right, it was Ignacio Ortiz who got the ball in towards the goal. And the final touch might well have come in from one of his strikers, but Argentina here have a 3-0 lead.
Well, Förster was livid in the passage of play beforehand when the first free hit was given to Argentina. And he was still talking to Gareth Greenfield. Here, you see him talking, doesn't set himself, and there's the overlap. All of a sudden, German defence not in the right place. I just don't know what Royce is doing in goal. He's not stepping out aggressively enough. His hands are so low, he can't even get his right hand up to make any sort of touch. It's just gently flicked past his left shoulder. Doesn't get anything on it, needs to have a higher right hand. Doesn't get any touch in front of the goal. Straight bobble in from Brunet.
Yes, we'll probably just have to check the status of that, because it did look like the last touch had come from Ortiz and it had crossed the goal line. But what matters is Argentina have this 3-0 lead, and from here on, for Germany to come back in, it will take nothing short of a minor miracle.
Oh, you look at that turnaround, a chance for Wesley at one end, two chances in fact for Wesley. Vivaldi getting in the way. What we can see is the incident just before, that's given us a free hit, whereas the German defence seemed to get it really cleanly. Förster is really upset by the fact it's been given against Muller in the first instance. There's a goal, it's a German defensive touch from Arnold that actually is in front of the goal line, but it's German, not Argentinian, so I think that goal will stand to Brunet.
So Argentina looking to repeat those performances from 2003. Did the double against Germany, and who knows, might well come up against Germany later on in this tournament, such as the format here at Bhubaneswar, and this will do their confidence a world of good. The entire team, right from the strike line to the midfield, who've also had an outstanding game. The defense had their nerves, especially in the second half, but this will settle them.
It will settle them, and when you watch games such as this, you get a feeling for who's in the ascendancy and dominating. In this game, you don't get the feeling that Argentina are dominating at all, and yet they've just quite simply converted their chances, what, 5 or 6 chances into 3 goals. But they haven't had the possession to reflect that kind of stat at all.
Here come Germany, Grambusch. What have they done wrong? Why have they scored only 2 goals thus far, Simon? What has been perhaps the biggest glaring weakness there?
It's conversion from positions like this. Traditionally, the Germans have got down the baseline really well.
Well, this time they have done well, and he's still going on, but Vivaldi with a terrific first save. The follow-up has been blasted over. If this had been cricket, that would have gone for 6.
Well, you look at the difference. Vivaldi here sees the danger, commits to it, and performs a great save. Go, there. That's brave, committed goalkeeping. Polk is criminal for blasting it over the bar. But if we look at this, compared to what Royce hasn't done at the other end, Vivaldi dominating his space.
And the contrast couldn't be greater, because both are wearing a jersey of the same color, but one man's performance has been much better in terms of just his confidence level. Especially in the second half, he has been called upon a few times, but has done exceedingly well to keep Argentina with a clean sheet still. That will be a remarkable achievement against a team like Germany. But like we have mentioned, it's come with a young squad. A lot of their players have come in from the indoor season, and possibly as more games go by, they will just warm up to the task. Up next will be the quarter-final, and they will want to be at their best by that time comes around. Just a little more than 7 minutes left today.
Yeah, and Förster having an absolute head-to-head, and that could easily be another card. It's Ibarra this time. Yeah, that's a horrible tackle in the middle of the pitch. Guillenlong, well, you suggest that he might have got his wallet in that tackle. That you just can't tackle from there. That's hand in the back, that's a push, stick across the feet. There was no chance that the ball was going to be
They were looking for a deflection here. Just didn't work out yet again, but they have that temporary man advantage for the next 4.5 minutes or so. And they will try and completely convert that. But it has happened before. Remember, Cecilio also had a yellow card. Germany had their chances, but just couldn't make the most of them.
Germany need to be patient, even though they've not got a lot of time. Move the defence around, then find the balls into the circle. That's a superb pick-up from Piat, but he's given it away.
Still might fall here for Germany. It's Oruz looking to create some space for himself. A little agricultural, the defence, but Cecilio gets the job done.
Oh, many years ago, the Spanish defence used to pride themselves on not giving away any penalty corners, and it was all about sweeping tackles, getting the ball out of the shooting area. Exactly what Argentina are doing now.
Zwicker found his way onto Falk, but just couldn't yet again breach this Argentinian wall, which has been quite solid. Confirmation of the card for the experienced Ibarra. Knew exactly what he was doing. Man who plays his hockey for San Fernando club back in Argentina. Germans come roving again. Even one goal from here will do substantial bit to enhance their reputation, or rather just to bring it back to par. Oh, a couple of bodies sliding, slipping around. Wesley was there.
Ruhr's been given a massive shove in the back, huge shove in the back. As he led towards the ball, there's a pass that comes in from the 25. Förster's gone to replay for a huge shove. I have
Germany
to agree with him.
Push in the back, in the circle. You just check me, please.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if the push was in the circle or outside the circle, but either way, Ruhr's body shape. We watched the lead as he comes out here. Ruhr at the bottom of our shot. That's, well, we can't see the contact. All of a sudden we're looking at Mazzilli coming up behind Ruhr. Whatever the push was, he certainly goes down pretty hard. From the body shape, because his upper body went backwards and his lower body went forwards, suggesting there was a push in the kidneys. There must have been some contact. Ruhr just hasn't thrown himself to the floor.
Yes, no angle is absolutely clear, but perhaps this one gave the best view of it.
Remember, the video umpires have got far more slow-mos than we've got on our screens here. Förster having a word with his troops. This won't be anything to do with the penalty corner. This will be about what they're going to do in the next 6 minutes.
It must be said, the result is not a foregone conclusion here. 6 minutes is plenty time, not just to come back into it, but possibly even to win it. But for that to happen, Germany will have to take their opportunities, which they just haven't done today or in the previous 2 matches.
There was a push in the back by the Argentinian defender. They thought you should award a penalty corner to Germany, and Germany retain their referral.
The penalty corner for the push. All right, happy?
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. We haven't seen anything from Ruhr to suggest he's going to throw himself on the floor at any other point. The body shape, it wasn't a manufactured dive. There was contact. It wasn't huge, but there was contact taking him down to the floor.
But remember, these are 2 teams which haven't as yet scored from penalty corners in this Hero Champions Trophy. The only 2 teams, in fact, to do that. Argentina have had 3 field goals today, but no PCs. Germany have this opportunity, and they make the most of it.
Now, with these players on the top of the circle, we've seen Germany setting up for a spin. Förster spinning it for a second flick.
Well, the dummy was put in, but casually slapped away. Nevertheless, it was deemed to be dangerous.
We're getting knee pads all over the pitch. Players are stuffing them into their socks. The number 1 runner, looking at Martinez, that's the flick, but we've got knee pads on the floor, and Peter Wright just needs to be careful, because if a ball hits that and it deflects, I can't profess to knowing the rulebook enough to know what the outcome would be, other than it was deflection off equipment, and therefore I guess a goal would be given if it was deflected in, but it could also be deflected away and therefore be detrimental to Germany.
On the battery, once again, it's Förster as well as... oh, that was swung in with a lot of power by Gomol, but not quite on target.
Oh, Förster put so much into the dummy at the top of the circle. He lets go of his stick. Watch this, it goes flying out of his hands. The dummy then goes across, the ball goes across, it's slip-flicked, and it hits the foot of Martinez on the post. He throws his stick If that had hit a stick and got in the roof, it would have been interesting.
We've got players, we've got balls, we've got knee pads, we've got sticks flying around. And it's all in good spirits. That is why this is the best of the best. Yet another opportunity. Foster this time, but just blazes it over. No problems for Vivaldi. Can't complain much. He's done a good job in goal for Argentina today.
So out to the top, first to picks it. The dummy had gone out to the right-hand side. Number one runner, Martinez, getting right in his way. Vivaldi had it covered. First to knows that he needed to get something on target.
There has been some tardiness in discipline in defence with the yellow cards to the likes of Cecilio as well as Mazzilli, but must be said they have defended well, as they did in their last game against India. Once they got even one goal ahead for the first time in that match. After that, they were a different side. Now this time that rattles off the bar, of course, wouldn't have been a problem unless it had fallen to a German stick on the rebound.
It's quite a good reaction from Vivaldi. The ball gets fired into the circle, no danger, doesn't hit anything other than the inside edge of the post. So Vivaldi letting it go, realises now and spins to cover.
The switch on, switch off button working well for him today. This time the last touch coming off a German stick, or an Argentinian stick in fact. Goes out for a long corner. Time running out here for Germany. Little less than 5 minutes. Matthias Rey was trying to win this ball for himself. Indeed, it will be possession for Argentina after a long, long time in this quarter.
Very frustrated because he's led back as a forward to tackle back into the midfield. He's shave tackled, so stick's nice and low, and I feel he's knocked the ball away and then made contact stick to stick, and in doing so has been penalised even though the ball had gone. Such a difficult thing to umpire, the shave tackle, because the angles are all wrong on the players.
Payato's had a good defensive game today. A couple of crucial interceptions which have helped his team along. Now looking to work their magic again down the left flank. It was a good attempt by Ray, but just running out of gas, one would suggest. Some of their forwards have done a terrific job today.
Well, done a terrific job, although even though Argentina had so little ball further up the pitch, and they've just not recycled it. Ray there was looking for the 1-2 down the left-hand side, but his left forward had just gone, yep, you know what, I'm just going to stay here nice and tight.
Well, no doubt that there will be more questions asked in the German camp than the Argentinian one. Argentina now making a goalkeeping change. Abrate comes on for only his 8th cap. The man who's nicknamed Ninja hopefully won't be required to do too many skills. Vivaldi has done a terrific job today. Good performance from him, especially when he was called upon a couple of times with snapshots straight at his body. Just made sure that he kept his shape and averted any danger. Now, Brunet on to Villa. Looking for the return ball. Foster is first to it and will win a free hit for his team as well. Agustin Mazzilli is back on the pitch as well after his yellow card. Oh, indeed it is. He is quite special as Lucas Villa. Once again down the right flank, looking to now run the clock down. It has been a terrific result in the end for the Argentinians. Vivaldi relaxed after a good day's work, understandably so. He hasn't conceded a single goal, and even if one is scored by Germany, it won't come against his name as such. It just sets up Argentina quite beautifully. Netherlands will play India in the last pool encounter of this pool, and depending on the result there, Argentina can possibly finish second in their group, which will mean an encounter with the third placed team from Pool A. Brunet on to Lopez.
Goes in field. There was the pass, just a little bit slow. Royce just with a complete lack of decisiveness in his own circle. That's when you step forward and you try and clear the halfway line with that. Put a boot through it.
Also probably upset there by a little bit of a deflection from one of the German sticks. Oh, this could be an opportunity. It has been smacked in, but deemed to have been dangerous. Wasn't going towards goal.
ball into the circle. Good skill down the baseline, pulled back off the reverse. There's a shooting chance. It was going wide. It's hit first as short by Greenfield. Absolutely right with the line of the shot not being legal.
Moritz Fuster. It's well picked up. Once again looking to create something for themselves. The Germans, can they find one consolation goal? It was blazed over with a lot of power by Florian Fuchs, the only man to have scored goals for Germany in this Hero Champions Trophy, but he failed this time around.
Well, this is what Fuchs does so well. One-on-one skills, creates the space by stopping. So many forwards let their momentum carry them towards the goal. Great balance because he slips slightly. Super connection with the leading edge. Blade of stick turned, shot over the bar.
Action at the other end. Joaquin Menini. Can he add to the one goal that he's got already in this match? Almost finding his way through, but some doughty defending denies him. Tobias Hawker with the back stick, or rather the reverse stick onto Ferk now. Through looking for a final opportunity if they can get one goal here. It'll just provide the ideal finish, but running out of time here and combining the match against India, Argentina have now scored 6 goals in a row without conceding a single one. It's finished in this match. Argentina 3, Germany 0. Goals on the day from Matias Paredes, and then another beautiful strike from Menini, and a final goal which came in from Pronet, which was terrifically done by the Argentinians. So recording only their 3rd victory against Germany in the Champions Trophy, and their first in 11 years after their double victory at the 2003 edition in Amstelveen. It has been a terrific performance. No goals conceded and 3 scored, which means that Argentina have a realistic chance of finishing 2nd in Pool B, which will be quite a reasonable result considering that they had the likes of European powerhouses Germany as well as Netherlands. Final scoreline here, Argentina 3, Germany 0. This will do a lot of good to the confidence of the Argentinian team, and Simon Mason alongside me. Simon, how will it affect Germany?
Well, they're a professional outfit, but it's the youngsters that you wonder about. They're coming through this tournament without a great string of results. Looking forward to the quarterfinals. How are they going to step themselves up? What are they being told to do?
Argentina were good, no doubt about that, and particularly the opportunism shown up front.
Here we have the highlights. So this is the first goal that goes in. Great pick and turn from Paredes. Super centre forward play, turn through Royce's legs. He's come in for Jacobi as a German goalkeeper, and I don't think he covered himself in glory today either. So there'll be a bit of confidence in that final German backline. Then it was Hauke who got robbed for an unbelievable finish from Menini. But Paredes on that near post, diving support. He's been tireless in midfield and deep defence for Argentina throughout the course of this entire game. Then all of a sudden, Förster gets caught looking for something else. Royce doesn't commit to the interception, and it just bobbles into that bottom corner from Mazzilli. Sorry, Ortiz even.
Yes, certainly did look like the last touch might well have come out of Ortiz, but what matters here is that Germany, they had a slightly better second half. All those 9 shots, mind you, came in the second half itself. 12 circle penetrations to 7 for Germany, and possession also much more in their favor. They had 4 penalty corners. Argentina had 1 as well, but both these teams are yet to score from a penalty corner situation in this Hero Champions Trophy. But Argentina have finished off the job in a very professional manner. Good victory for them, and it has done their confidence a world of good going into the quarterfinal stages. 3 cards given, and 2 for Argentina, 1 for Germany. Has been a terrific performance from Argentina. No doubt that the man of the match will probably be from their camp. Let's find out with Michael Absalom.
Thank you very much, and welcome along to the Hero Man of the Match presentation for this game between Argentina and Germany. Alongside me from the FIH, I have the tournament director, Wirt Doyer. He's also the member of the FIH Competitions Committee. And today's man of the match is Mateus Paredes. A huge cheer for Mateus as he picks up 25,000 rupees and also his man of the match trophy there as well. Mateus, congratulations, a great result and lots of goals on the scoreboard. You must be very happy.
Yeah, of course. For us, playing against Germany is always something special. They are one of the best teams in the history, and I think we won in the World Cup and today, so we are really happy.
And what major positives do you take away from an experience like this going into the quarterfinals?
Well, we couldn't train together, the whole team, so we try to, these 3 matches, try to get in tempo and try to get speed and confidence and try to make a team to be ready for the quarterfinals.
Can we get your reaction to the women back home in Mendoza as well? You must be chuffed and there must be a good buzz in the Argentina camp.
Yeah, of course. We are really happy for them. We are trying to do the same.
Okay, good luck for the rest of the tournament. We'll see you in the quarterfinals.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, indeed. If they need to emulate Las Leonas, then they've taken a big step towards it today with a fine victory. +2 is their goal difference, which is why they're still beneath Netherlands. But they finish all their engagements in the pool stages, and they've done it quite competently. Defeated India after fighting back from being 2-1 down, and now blanked Germany 3-0, thanks to a fantastic performance, Simon. Netherlands and India will be playing the last game of Pool B, and Simon, some of the rest of the encounters also could promise some great excitement.
They could indeed, but that last one of the day is the real highlight. The crowds will come in, we'll have a 7,000 capacity, and India just need to find a tiny little bit more detail in their play. So looking at the next game, however, we're going to have a few, probably about half a dozen England fans come in and a similar number of Belgians, but looking at the winner of that going to the top of Pool A, and they'll want to maintain their momentum through this competition so that when it gets those quarter-final rounds, they're on the front foot.
Yes, massive self-assurance will be there in both those teams, because England, remember, winning their last match 8-2 against Pakistan, one of their biggest victories ever in the history of the Champions Trophy, and also Ashley Jackson going past Callum Giles's record of goal scoring for both England as well as Great Britain. Belgium themselves also showed a lot of character in coming back in the match against Australia. They were 3-0 down at one stage and went on to draw it 4-all. So two quality teams from Europe who will be taking to the turf in just about 20 minutes or 18 minutes from now. So make sure you join us for that one. England versus Belgium in just a little while.